mission, should you wish to accept it, is to uncover the faith of the 20th Legion's Primarch, Alpharius. His death remains unconfirmed, yet his Legion speaks his name across the galaxy. Your mission objective is to uncover the truth, but be warned, they are watching you.
Greetings, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Craft Hammer. I'm your host Stefan, and in this episode we discuss and speculate about the 20th Legion's Primarch, Alpharius. Mystery that's built upon a lie that's on top of deception. The true nature and lore of the Alpha Legion and their Primarch as of yet has never truly been revealed to us, the audience. Yet we love to speculate and argue over every single detail that we can get our hands on. As such, I decided to jump in the middle here, throw a spanner in the works, and give my 2 cents on why I think that Alpharius is still alive and the faith of the Alpha Legion during the Horus heresy isn't as clear-cut as some people like to believe. So the first thing that we need to do is talk about the elephant in the room, in the fact that everything that we know about the Alpha Legion is a lie. Sure, without a doubt this is a cool and kind of edgy concept to build a legion upon, but if Warhammer community decided to put up an article tomorrow and gave us the facts of the Alpha Legion, most of us I think would have a hard time actually believing what they say is being true. It's both one of the charms and frustrations of the Legion. As such, the theory that I'm going to put forward is going to be a speculation, a truth, and a lie. So let's get into it and talk about the first deception. For my theory, Alpharius never left Terra and was in fact the first Primarch to be found. On the other hand, Omegon was found at a much later date. This of course helps to set up the disparity between Alpharius being trained by the Emperor himself and having the time to be in his company and building up that reputation. While on the other hand, since Omegon was found at a much later time, near the end of the Great Crusade, but his training and his loyalty wasn't quite built on the same solid foundation that Alpharius had when he was being trained on Terra. And the reason why I want to point this out is that I see far too many theories out there that kind of swap Alpharius and Omegon in and out without ever acknowledging the fact that their outlooks and their motivations might have been different, considering that they would have had vastly different experiences as they grew up and integrated into the Imperium and the Crusade as a whole. Another point that will be part of my theory is the twin Primarchs being approached by the Cabal. The details of the visions that the Cabal brings to the twin Primarchs aren't particularly important in this case. Instead, the difference of interpretation is what matters. Both Primarchs understood that the Alpha Legion would need to infiltrate heretic and loyalist alike. Sabotage or aid would be given to either side if it meant the completion of the overall plan. And this is where we see the spark that would bring the downfall of the Alpha Legion. I speculated that from the beginning the 2 Primarchs were not on the same page on how to approach the heresy. As Omegon and recruits from outside of Terra integrated into the Alpha Legion, we start to see a division of how they view other Space Marine legions. Arrogance and hubris starts to creep into the ranks. The disdain that parts of the Alpha Legion have towards their more barbaric Space Marine cousins starts to influence the decisions and the plots that are put in place during the heresy. As the 2 Primarchs split up to oversee different theaters of battle, slowly over time their plots and their schemes start to drift apart and even begin to work against one another. The arrogance and disdain that was mentioned earlier also leaves the door open for chaos to come in. My speculation is that Omegon is the one that falls under the influence of chaos. Similar to Horus, a veil falls upon Omegon. His perception of reality is being distorted, while his disdain for the other legions are being amplified. I believe that this is where the Legion begins to split into roughly 4 different factions. The first 2 factions that infiltrated both traitor and loyalist followed the orders of Alpharius and kept the Imperium's best interests at heart, but over time have found it more difficult to tell friend from foe. As they've grown more insular towards one another, the overall purpose of their operations have become ever more difficult to understand. Now, the other 2 factions that originally followed Omegon have split and fractured even further. Some fell to chaos and began to actively work against the Imperium, while others became more renegade in nature and began to work in their own interests. This of course made it difficult for the Alpha Legion to remain a unified force. Communication was broken across the Legion, backstabbing and sabotage was rife. The Legion was no longer whole and instead was fighting a shadow war against itself. Now, returning to the two Primarchs themselves, I speculate that it is Omegon that dies at the hands of Rogel Dorn. This helps to cement the fracturing of the Legion, while also ensuring that the Imperium would never trust the Alpha Legion. The events that occurred on Pluto, and the fact that the Imperium at large had no information regarding Omegon, would cement the idea that he had joined the traitors, and that the Alpha Legion was working against the vested interests of the Imperium. As such, Alpharius had no choice but to remain within the shadows. He would be left fighting a long and grueling campaign against the clandestine operations of his traitorous sons. Like every other legion, some remained loyal to the Emperor, while others joined the Warmaster and helped set the galaxy on fire. This might not be the most comprehensive speculation regarding the Alpha Legion, but I do find it strange that some theories out there are so adamant to paint the Alpha Legion with only one brush. My view on the matter is that it's more likely a lot more complicated than we expect, and we definitely won't be finding out anytime soon. It's always fun to try and uncover secrets hidden within the story. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think about my theory and my speculation on the Alpha Legion. Which version of the Alpha Legion do you adhere to? I'll be back with more speculation soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. I shall see you in the next one. Take care, folks.